So Haas in the blue singlet, red anklet against barefoot Jake Damron. Interesting here. I wonder if there's any advantage or disadvantage to having bare feet compared to shoes. I can't imagine there is one, Bob.
No. And I think, I don't know, man. I think with the bare feet, you would stick to the mat more.
Unless it gets sweaty, and then you're slipping. I think you're probably slipping a little more compared to the shoes.
Resting shoes, yeah.
Have a little more traction, but I don't think these mats are that sweaty yet. We haven't seen any of the real big boys out there to really wetting that mat up.
And I see a lot of young men and young women nowadays not wearing knee pads or knee sleeves, and I always needed a knee pad on my, my drop step knee. And man, they're tough. I mean, their knees are so scarred up and so rough now and calloused. It's unbelievable. But I always had to wear at least one knee pad and my headgear too. That's why my ears are not in. You got the cool resting ears. I have just the normal. Yeah, I wear my headgear ears.
Yeah, the cauliflower ear is one of those things that makes you look tougher, but I'm not really super tough. It just maybe it makes it's in my advantage there.
How about Bo Nichols' ears?
Those are, there's some ugly ears out there. And I'm not going to tell him that to his face, obviously, but I think he knows. He's a professional UFC fighter now, wrestled his whole life, so.
Yeah, John Bullock.
It's almost like a rite of passage to have those.
Exactly. It's like that badge of honor. And John Bullock, who helped put together this tournament and does the club, wrestling for this, older adults and people who used to wrestle and still wrestle. He's got that one ear. His left ear looks pretty nasty.
Yeah, just going through the chat here. Toby Eats watching from California. His daughter just won there on mat 1. He said thanks for supporting women's wrestling, and it's not us. I mean, we'll talk about it, but it's a PIAA that's starting to support it now. The NCAA is starting to come around, so.
It's great. It's a great opportunity.
I mean, it took them long enough to really get on board. Like we said, it's the fastest growing sport. And I saw a really cool stat watching the Olympic trials. Helen Maroulis won that world title, Olympic championship in 2012, was it?
Yep.
And I saw the number of women athletes in wrestling was a few thousand. Since she's won that gold medal, it's up to 30, 40, maybe 50,000. So Helen Maroulis really, imperative in that aspect there, but
a pioneer.
It's more than just her, right? It's the coaches, it's the media, it's the internet, the whole wrestling community really coming together to support women's wrestling. And like I said, fastest growing sport. Ooh, big throw here on the green mat.
Yeah, they were setting that up.
Yeah, that was a nice lat drop there. And
yeah, Helen Maroulis was a trendsetter and a pioneer, and Adeline Gray, same thing. And you just really have to take your hat or tip your hat to those women who have done so much for the advancement of female and women's wrestling here in the United States. And
and we talked about men being full-time fathers and competing, but how about Adeline